Hello, this is Danny Han from Dennis English. Have you ever wondered if you're Korean, uh, why we cannot speak in English even though we have been taught English more than 10 years? You know, mm, to add up, college period, it will be a significant amount of time. However, we are struggling with English so much, even to make a simple sentence. Today, I'd like to talk about that issue, honestly. As a non-native speaker who is teaching English, also I have gone through that process, and also, you know, I have thought about that issue a lot. Why Korean people cannot speak in English very well, cannot produce a single sentence even from their mouth. I'd like to say this is not your fault. Uh, Put it simply, this is entirely due to our English education system. This is very critical and important issue for English education in Korea. I'd like to bring up one uh, like a controversial issue still predominant in English education in Korea. How we learn English, how we learn English at school, even you know at a cram school called 학원 in Korea. Mostly we are taught you know, by GTM stands for Grammar Translation Method, which means mm, in our English classroom, typical English classroom, mostly we are taught English in Korean, our first language. That might be the easiest way, most convenient, comfortable way to learn English. However, this is not good for us in the long term. This should be changed gradually, I'd like to say, to be able to produce any English sentence from your mouth if you want. Myself included, I have been, taught in that way, exactly the same way, even though time has passed a lot since almost, I'd like to say, you know, over decades ago, we were taught English in that way, such as based on grammar translation method. While teaching my students in 2024, I also hear from my students they are still taught in the exact same way at school. Why is that? Why we are still using the same method to teach English, uh, which has not changed for a long period of time, even though we realize it's not an ideal method. There is one famous quote in Korea. Even though I have spent, you know, incredibly amount of time learning English, I cannot speak a even single sentence in English. While teaching corporate uh, employees in my home city, I often see a lot of adults struggling with making a simple sentence. Also, cannot produce uh, English sentence from their mouth, even though uh, they are all college graduates, which means they have spent more than you know at least 10 years of English education in Korea. I'd like to say earlier, uh, as I told you, this is not your fault. This is entirely due to our education system. which is thanks to, you know, due to grammar translation method. According to research, it has been proven, right? It's not my argument, okay? Grammar translation method is uh, English education, English subject is conducted in native language, in our case, Korean. Uh, this is really traditional method of learning English. It goes back to in here like 17th or 16th century, 16th century, right? Uh-huh. When first European people learned Latin, they used this method. At that time, Latin was really predominant language in, you know, the scope of a lot of disciplines, such as politics, academics, or other uh, important and instrumental areas. At that time, most lot of intellectual European people, like a higher class of people, had to learn Latin. Uh, they learned Latin language using, by grammar translation method at that time. But still, in this 21st century, we still are taught by grammar translation method, South Korea, along with Japan. Actually, uh, South Korean English education system was directly influenced by Japanese English education system. So these two countries are still using uh, GTM, grammar translation method, dominantly in their classes. What is their sharing aspect? They are very reluctant and struggling with English speaking. South Korea is a little bit better, according to statistics. But yeah, I'd like to say the point of today's video is uh, if you are, you know, someone who like a kind of uh, disregard uh, kind of yourself as a someone who cannot speak English well, uh, I'd like to say it's not your fault. Uh, that is due to your teaching method, your education method you have been gone through, you have gone through throughout your school days. Yeah, it's necessary to change. It's necessary to change that method to be able to, communicate in English. It's kind of such a wasteful, right? To if we want to speak in English after, you know, we missed we missed the critical period of time to be able to develop our communicative competence. Uh, so many South Korean people, after finishing their college, they have to they realized where my English fluency is, why my English is like this. Still, that's really vicious cycle. Even at college, we uh, prepare TOEIC test exactly in the same way we have been taught, you know, at school, period, when preparing for our college entrance exam. So uh, that's why if we want to improve your English speaking skills, you might have to restart. You might have to change your perspective. You might have to realize uh, that's not your fault. Myself included as well as English teacher. That's why I am, you know, I have begun running my YouTube channel to, you know, spread this message. Like a lot of things we have been brainwashed, specifically about English education. Uh, so today, mm, and finally, there is some merits of grammar translation method. Specifically, you are good at the focus of this method is to improving your reading ability and writing skills. But we might have to ask ourselves, what about our literacy level, reading and writing, so-called? Is it good enough for our, you know, expectation? Right. So it's a long way to go, right? So if you shift your perspective, like from this, from any thought about disregarding yourself, your English proficiency to any restarting point, uh, I think uh, like uh, you have to encourage yourself, and you might need justification about your current English proficiency. So this is my message today. This is what I want to talk about today. That's all. If you are satisfied with this video, you can subscribe my channel. Thank you.